So here's a professional development presentation I did for the administrators. I'm going to go ahead and make this recording so that you guys can see what I was discussing with them. This is the plan for professional development 2019 through 2020 school year. My plan is for us, or the directive that I got is with our rolling out of Chromebooks, we need, as professionals, we need to be ready to use these Chromebooks to their full potential. And not only that, not just that, but we need to prepare our students for the careers that they're going into, and not just prepare them for the careers they're going into, but to make them leaders in those careers. What I've heard, this is some of the feedback I got back from some of the teachers when I sent this out. When we sent our initial ideas, is that we wanted to use the SAMR model as an evaluation, and also, or not so much as an evaluation, but as a standard in which to measure what we're wanting from our as educators for our students in the integration of technology. Also is some of the steps that we had put down as measuring tools were they were not applicable to the high school, what you were doing in a high school, as well as what could be done with the young ones in the lower grades. So it was hard to make those things applicable to all grade levels. Also, the steps seem to be big jumps between the two. And so I sent out a survey, and I had about 60 responses on that survey. And these were some of the results that we got in that survey. Most people said that they, I said the next few months, but haven't been able to put a lot of that training together. Most people said they wanted Google Classroom training. Next, they wanted just training on the Google Suites. They also wanted specific training on how to use Google Forms. And some people would like to even know what a Chromebook is. Then I put QR codes, and then what I was really impressed with from our teachers is a lot of people said they just wanted ideas for it. And then here are some of the I had an others box available for people, and this was some of the things that people said they want. The others, ESL training, and I don't have any idea. I already use, I don't know what that person said, but it was just one person. Anyways, and then the next question I had was, when would you like to do your training? And most people said they wanted it on Monday and Tuesday after school, and then there was a lot of people who said they wanted online training available. And what I found really interesting here was that I asked the question because in order for us to have training that is only 30 minutes after school, in order for that time to be effective, people are going to have to do some work before they show up. And I was asking, how much work are you willing to put into these trainings before you show up? And, most people said that they were willing to at least put in 15 minutes or more into the training. And then we had people who, like, there's no way, I don't have time to do training. So that is some of the feedback that I got back from teachers. Now, so when we're looking at a tool to measure what a tool to measure the what is good integration of technology, the model in which I think is extremely useful is the SAMR model. And the reason is because down here on the lower end is more student-centered instruction. I mean, not student-centered instruction, more teacher-centered instruction, whereas these top two tiers are more student-centered instruction. So SAMR is not just about, you know, it's not just about how to use technology, but it's how to use technology in conjunction with good pedagogical techniques. Now, this is a very busy uh, graphic, and it's kind of hard to read what's here, and it's hard to see what it is that's going on right here. But the reason why I chose to use this is because this is a good example of to visually show you how here in the center is the Bloom's DOK levels. That's what's represented by the colors. And if you look at this gray ring on the outside, this is a good example or a good showing of how the Samer model plays into good instructional techniques. And here they have some of the icons, which I don't fully agree with it in that aspect, but I do think this is a good visual representation of how it's not just enough to put and use technology. And technology is not about providing a wow factor. It's about how you use it in conjunction with good instructional techniques. Now, I wanted to change some of the wording with our with how we wanted to present this, because even though the Samer model is very good about it, but like right here where it says augmentation, I don't want teachers to get confused with augmentation and augmented reality. So what I wanted to do here is to show that what I'm trying to say to everybody is, you know, up here on the beginner level, substitution, you know, you could have handed the student a piece of paper and a pencil, or a worksheet and a pencil, and say, fill out this worksheet. Or you can hand them a worksheet that's been put on the computer and they fill the worksheet out digitally. Either which way, the student's still filling out a worksheet. Now, you move up a little bit, you might hand them a worksheet and it can have a YouTube video attached with it. And, you know, that's making it a little bit more, putting a little few more bells and whistles on the worksheet, but it's still on that teacher-led instruction. Now you move up here into the modification level, and now the task depends on the use of technology. So this is a task that you couldn't get done unless you had the technology, and the student is starting to become more engaged. This is where augmented reality comes into play, because the student is able to take that piece of technology and they're able to interact with that technology. Now you move up to the master level. This is where it's completely now redefined. Now it's completely centered on student-led instruction. What that means is that the student, you know, the teacher assigns the task. For example, I want you to tell me how you understand not our Declaration, our Constitution, the United States Constitution. I want you to show me that you understand it. So the student decides to create a website that compares the issues that they were dealing with when they were constructing the Constitution of the United States, and how those issues, and comparing with the issues that is being identified in the Constitution today. It was the student who decided to create that website. It was the student who used that website and created it. At no point in time did the teacher say, I want you to create this website. So it's student-led instruction or discovery. So badges is the model by which we can do this. Anyway, so badges is the tool by which we could use to motivate teachers to proceed down this professional development route. You know, badges are research based in the sense that, you know, we can see badging being used in our military all the way back to ancient times, when Romans would wear tall feathers or tall plumage in their helmets to identify their rank and what role they had in the military, to Native Americans using different feathers in their headdress or beads in their dressing to identify what they understand and what they know. We even see it in sports, whether they're winning an Olympic medal, or here we see a football player that is showing you some of the things that they've accomplished and what events they've participated in. Where the research comes in is that we have many companies, even people who have created board games or people who've created video games, they go and they try to find out what psychological incentive, what happens psychologically to motivate an individual to continue playing a game even though they have played it for a while. What keeps bringing them back to that game? And so they go into and they research what builds that intrinsic motivation to continue playing. And one of those techniques is badging, even to the point where businesses have turned around, and you look at one business and another business, and what's going to bring a customer to their business when there's another store that offers the same product at the same price with the same selection, the same everything. What's going to bring them back? And they will take those techniques developed by game designers to develop a system by which teachers can, or not teachers, as customers will continue coming back, and that's called gamification. So when I was at the TCEA conference, I saw several school districts who have adopted this badging concept to help promote professional development. There's different ways in which campuses identified their badges. Some of them had tumblers that they would put their badges on. Some of them would have buttons that they put on their lanyard for their ID badges. So there's different ways for teachers to show, but how they were able to identify. So the way I was seeing it for here at Perryton Independent School District is I was looking at this. I was imagining this table out in front of a classroom. Here we have beginner, like with the same model as I was saying earlier, and then we have up here the master level. And the goal for the teacher is to fill this entire chart up with 5 different badges on each row. And maybe they get 3 and then they get 1, and then they might get 4, they can get 2, 1, and 1. It's on the different levels, but their goal is to fill out the entire table. And then they win a t-shirt. So what's the big deal about winning a t-shirt? Well, what happens is if you wear this t-shirt, no matter what day of the week, your administrator will let you wear jeans. Ta-da, ta-da! So that's a motivation for teachers. So how do you earn a badge? Well, I saw at the TCA conference, a lot of school districts offered what they call a menu. This menu allowed teachers to select the different types of professional development that they can do in order to earn a badge. And here's just an example of one. So what I did is I created a website for professional development. And this is going to be a landing page for people to come to find out the information they want on professional development. Now here's the home page. I'll come back to it, but I just wanted to quickly show you what I've got so far on this web page. Here we have basically the information that I'm covering right now. I might even post this video for everyone to view later on. And then here is a calendar that you can go and you can look at, and you will see upcoming professional development that's being offered after school. Also, here is if you do not see a training that you want to take, well then here is a request for one. So let's go back to our home page. Here is the newsletter. I just put this on the home page, so if people want to go and look at the newsletter, they should be receiving it in their email anyways. But here's the badge application. So you went and participated in a professional development. Now you want to get your badge. So you come here and you apply for this badge. Here's the level that they say, okay, I'm a beginner level, and I did this training on the beginner level. I did this training on the intermediate level. So here's some of the trainings that I've gotten so far. None of this is None of this is set in concrete. This will be a growing list depending on how many teachers are doing said training. Level one is, you can do your level one or level two Google certification. That's going to equal up to 3 badges. Attending a Region 16 technology training, 4 after-school trainings, 4 classroom observations. That's where you hear about a teacher who's doing something that you're interested in doing, and you go and you watch them use it in their classroom. Attend 4 social media collaboration lunches. I'll talk about that later. Uh, complete 4 PISD online sessions. So we'll be offering some online sessions, and you can go ahead and take those. You can clep out. Clepping out is, I don't know if that's the best name, but basically, let's say, for example, you hear about Edpuzzle. You go and you research Edpuzzle, you go and you learn how to use Edpuzzle, you go and you implement Edpuzzle in your classroom, and that took you time to learn and do that. So you deserve credit for your effort. So you submit a form and say, hey, I did Edpuzzle. I want a badge for it. You could take a cue from a librarian. So that's basically you have a class coming, a unit coming up, and you go to that teacher or that librarian and you say, hey, here's the unit we're about to go and do. What is some of the resources that our school district pays for monthly, and what can we do? What do we have that can help me do this? And those librarians know of several resources that you can use that'll help you out in your classroom. So let's say beginner, and we're going to say classroom observation. I click next. And so what you do here is you download lesson plans including tech used or other documentation. So if you have some documentation that says, hey, this is what I did, you add that documentation here and you submit your form, and we will get you your badge. So that's the application process. That's how you go about getting a badge. Now, what is the Social Media Collaboration Lunch Club? What this is several teachers already use social media, Twitter, Pinterest, whatever, to go and get ideas and to get some inspiration for their classroom. And we want to honor that. So what I plan on doing is providing a lunch on a 5-week rotation to each campus. Now, I consider Kinder and Junior High one campus, and I consider Williams and Wright as one campus. And what we'll do is we'll provide lunch. Now, you have to apply to go to that lunch, and when you go to that lunch club, your entrance fee for that lunch club is to provide some things of what did you learn on Twitter or Pinterest or Facebook. What did you do and how did you use it in your classroom? Was it successful? Was it not? Just to socialize and talk about what you learned on the social media. And so that's what the Lunch Club is. So if you have any questions, email me those questions. But basically, this is what my idea was for professional development next year.